Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks you can accomplish with the Samsung Galaxy S6. Now before we get into it, I just want to mention that I do have the factory unlocked version, and some of the features that I'll be showing you in this video might be different from what you might see in, say, a display model of the Galaxy S6 if you go into a phone shop, for example. Samsung has made some changes across different models, very tiny. For example, if you go to the system settings menu, I only have the option to do a list view, whereas some versions of the Galaxy S6 only have a tab view, so you would have like general settings, Samsung settings, and stuff like that. But generally, I'm going through over the exclusive Samsung features, maybe a few stock Android, not too many, but I'm focusing more on what's exclusive to the Galaxy S6. And I want to start off with the general, home screens that you get here. So you can do is pinch in, and you have the ability to go through your various home screen panels that are available. You can add more if you go to the right. Now, when you're on your regular viewing mode, just like this, if you go over to the left, you'll have this thing called Flipboard. It's basically Flipboard designed for the Galaxy S6. You have the ability to customize your feed. So for example, I have selected technology, science, entertainment. You have to select a minimum of 3 categories, unfortunately. So if you want just technology, you can't do that. You have to select 2 more. But you do have the option to select even more of them, and you can actually choose how you want them to be displayed in which order. You do also have the ability to have notifications available and so on and so forth, but some people might not like this. They might want just a regular home screen panel like this. Well, you can actually remove Flipboard. So if you just pinch in like I showed, and you have the ability to remove screens. So for example, if I were to go here, I can actually slide this up to that trash can where it says remove until it turns red. But for the Flipboard, all I have to simply do is uncheck it. So if I were to go home now, I can't go left because Flipboard has been removed. So that's how you customize your home screen just a little bit. So here's some more things. You also have the ability to access your wallpapers. So this will be like any live wallpapers you might have. You can also adjust the screen grid, which basically allows you to have 4x4 icons, 4x5, or 5x5. So if we're switch to 5x5, for example, as you notice, everything's shifted over just a tad bit, just to accommodate for that additional space. So let's hit apply. You notice everything's been shifted around. Okay. Now, this part is a bit of a troublesome issue with many Galaxy S6, and I'm not sure about 6 Edge, but it's very possible because they're almost identical in software, except for a few exclusive features with the Galaxy S6 Edge. Basically, if you go to the app drawer, this is where all your apps are listed. You'll notice that mine are not in alphabetical order, which is really annoying. Now, for some people, if you hit edit, you'll get this option that pops up saying that, hey, you can sort it in alphabetical order. As you can see, I don't have that option. All I have is the option to tap the minus because it'll remove apps that I have downloaded from the Google Play Store. I don't have the ability to rearrange in alphabetical order. Some people do have that ability if they receive a very particular software update from Samsung. Many people, including myself, I've had this phone for, it's going to be a month, I think in about a week. I still haven't received an update to fix that. And there's a lot of people on the internet having the exact same issue as me. And to me, for Samsung to release a device with such a ridiculous mistake is unbelievably, well, simply put, stupid. I'm a huge Samsung and Android fan, but that was really dumb. So temporarily, until that update is available, if you're in my boat and you want alphabetical order sorting, you're gonna have to download a third-party home screen app like Nova Launcher, for example. So something to be aware of. Now, if you were to go to the stock messaging app, I removed all my text because I don't want to show any personal information. But while here, you actually have the ability to change the text size of your actual text. So if I had any text messages here being displayed, you have 2 ways to do it. You can pinch and zoom in and out, or while on this screen, you can use the volume rocker. So if I had some text showing up here right now, it wouldn't actually change the volume, it actually changed the text size. You can make it bigger or smaller. You also have the ability to add some like quick contacts. You have like a panel up here if you go to more and add priority senders. I'm not going to show you any of my contacts because again, it's personal information. So I went ahead and added someone from my contacts list. I just wanted to skip that so you guys don't see. But as you can see, I added someone named Harry from my address book. So if I were to simply tap them, I have the ability to quickly text them, and I can add more people by hitting the plus button. But if I want to get rid of this bar up here, because out of the box it does come with that, it was really annoying. Just go to more, edit priority senders, hit the minus. And if you have more, you'll have to hit the minus on all of them. Click done, and you'll notice that it's no longer there. Now going back over to the pinch and zoom, you do have this thing called themes over here. It's also available in the system settings menu, so I'm actually going to come back to this. I don't want to mention that you do have the themes quick shortcut there. So if I were to swipe down my notification drawer, you notice I have a whole bunch of stuff here. Now, this is another thing that's different for other versions of the Galaxy S6. I have the brightness control level, S Finder, and Quick Connect permanently there. I cannot remove them. Some people don't even have them here, but they don't have the option to add them. So this is another thing that some carriers like say AT&T will change. They'll have Samsung change it, whereas mine is factory unlocked. It's straight from Samsung. I have these three things here and I can't remove them. I find them to take up unnecessary space, which is ridiculous, but some people that might want them, you can't add them, unfortunately. But generally, to customize your notification drawer, when you swipe it down, you would hit edit, and here you would have additional options. So as you can see right now, as I demonstrated earlier, I have just these 5 up here. And if I want to add more, like say, for example, I want to add power saving mode, I'll just hold and drag. And as you can see, I can actually rearrange all my icons how I want. Click done to save. And as you can see, I have power saving mode there, and I can actually scroll across if I have too many. So continuing on, going to the system settings menu, this is where a good chunk of options are available. So again, mine is in a list view, but I still have the quick settings options available here. So these are like my really quick shortcuts. I can edit and add more by simply tapping the little edit button here. As you can see, I have an option to add up to 9 maximum. And right now I have 6 selected. So let me add another one just for the fun of it, just to show you guys. Click back. As you can see, I've added another one now. This is something that actually is part of stock Android Lollipop now, but Samsung actually had this feature before Google implemented it in stock Lollipop as a search. So if I were to search something like oops, that's not right. Wallpaper, it'll start searching through my system settings menu. So this is a great feature to quickly find an option. Now another thing that's really annoying with my version of the Galaxy S6, and many people will have the same problem, is if you turn off mobile data, you'll have this pop-up window telling you that, hey, you turn off mobile data, you have no internet, which is really annoying. But if you have a SIM card inserted, which I currently don't, it's in my Note 4, you actually have the ability to turn on Wi-Fi and your mobile data at the same time. So what will happen is, it's called Smart Switch. So while you're connected to a Wi-Fi connection, your Galaxy S6 will stay connected to the Wi-Fi. If you leave the Wi-Fi connection, it'll switch straight to mobile data. And now some other Android devices have this feature available, but I noticed that it works the best on the Galaxy S6. And you can usually access that particular option if I had a SIM card inserted by simply going to Wi-Fi and then tapping more. And it would be another option here. Okay, so moving along, just going down the list a little bit more. More connection settings. I have this ability to enable something called Download Booster, which as you can see plainly says I can download files that are 30 megabytes in size or bigger by combining my Wi-Fi and LTE speeds together. So of course there is also an IR blaster located on this device, so you can actually use it as a universal remote control for your various home theater devices if it can be detected. Furthermore, there's also the ability to use Mirrorcast, which is also included in the Galaxy S6, which basically means you can wirelessly mirror whatever is being displayed on your Galaxy S6 straight to your TV, if of course you have some sort of Mirrorcast device connected to your TV. So going over to sounds and notification, most of the stuff is very generic information about changing your ringtone type and volume, etc. But if you go to sound quality and effects, I find these features very gimmicky. So for adapt sound, for example, you have to connect headphones, and what you'll do is go through a series of beeping tests. It was a very long test, and it'll try to make the Galaxy S6 output sound through your headphones to make it sound as good as possible for your hearing type. I find it to be very gimmicky. I hardly notice a difference. And Sound Alive and Tube Amp works when you have like a Bluetooth speaker connected, and it tries to make the sound change. Again, this is still a smartphone as your receiver. I don't find it to be a great change. It's just something more of a gimmick I personally find. Going down just a little bit further, you have the ability to add notifications on the lock screen or not. You also have the ability to turn off your LED notificator light, which is usually blinking here for various notifications. And now going back to display, you have a fair amount of options here. You have the ability to change your font. As you can see, I'll change it to Choco Cookie. This is not something exclusive to the Galaxy S6. A lot of other devices can do this. You also have the ability to change your font size, as you can see. Smart Stay has been around since the Galaxy S3, I believe, Basically, as long as you're looking at your device, the screen will stay on. When you look away, the screen will turn off. I have never got this to work. Ever since the Galaxy S3, this has never worked for me, even on the Galaxy Note 3 and the Galaxy Note 4. It uses the front-facing camera to do it, but I've never got it to work. And if you go to screen mode, you also have the ability to change your color settings. So you have something like, if I were to change it to AMOLED Cinema, you'll notice that the color in the picture changes. As AMOLED Photo, and then of course basic is more dull colors. I find adaptive display to be the best. It'll adjust the saturation. Like if you're looking at a picture from your photo gallery, it'll make the color pop a lot more. So back to the system settings menu, selecting motions and gestures. Now, Samsung used to have a lot. They used to have like this ability where if you were to, for example, hover your finger above a picture in the gallery, it'll kind of give you a bigger pop-up preview. They removed all that because it was absolutely useless. So you'll notice that you're very limited on the exclusive Samsung gestures that are available. But basically you have direct calls. So if you're looking at someone's text message, or if you're looking at their contact in their phone book, as soon as you pick up the phone and bring it to your ear, it'll just call them. Going over it a little bit, I have all these things enabled, so I'm just going through the preview so you guys can just kind of read along if you want. If I were to go to Smart Alert and activate it, if I have a notification like say a text message available and I pick it up from my desk, the phone will vibrate. Mute will basically allow you to flip over your device, or you can cover it up with your palm to mute say a contact that's calling you, for example. And palm swipe to capture basically is the exclusive Samsung way of taking a screenshot, which works okay. It worked now. Sometimes I have a little bit of trouble, but it works the best on the Galaxy S6 compared to previous Galaxy S devices. Okay, so going to system settings menu again, I just want to show you themes. Now, I wanted to show you that's available in the system settings menu as well. Now, I only have this much available. You can actually download more if you go to the store. You'll open up the Samsung store, sorry. I get those random errors here and there, very rarely. I usually just keep pressing OK and they disappear. I'm not sure what's up with them, but I just ignore them. So you have a whole bunch of themes to download. So I just want to use one of the basic ones that I have. And you'll notice, actually I just want to mention that you'll notice that when it's done applying, which is really quick, it's not going to just be an icon pack. It's like a full proper theme change. So if I were to go to, let's get rid of these notifications. You know, my notification drawer actually changed as well. Same with my system settings menu. So this means if you want to download actual proper themes for your phone, you no longer have to flash a custom ROM. So something I almost forgot to mention is that previously on other Galaxy devices, when you're using the remote control, the app to use used to be called Smart Remote or something like that. It's actually been changed. So basically I have this tool folder that came straight out of the box like that. The new app is called Peel Smart Remote. So going over to lock screen and security, this is where you can basically set your lock screen security, for example. You can add or remove fingerprints. So you can actually have more than one person's fingerprint. So I have mine included. And as you can see, I have one fingerprint. So that's me. If I wanted my wife to add hers, I can add hers as well. So the fingerprint scanner has been tremendously improved over the Galaxy Note 4, for example, where you had to swipe down. And it didn't work a lot of the time. It was really annoying. You had to get the angle perfect. Now it's been changed. It's almost a copy of the iPhone 6, but it works fantastic. So what happens is that you have to keep pressing your fingerprint on the home button. The recognition takes forever, but when it is added to the phone in its memory, it works fantastic. So basically if you go to screen lock type, we'll change it to fingerprint because the rest is very generic Android. I have to enable it by pressing my fingerprint. And I can choose if I want to show content or hide content, like say I have the ability to add the name of the device. So this phone belongs to Sook, for example. I can hide it or I can choose to show it. So if we were to turn off the screen, if I try to swipe, nothing's working. If I type fingerprint, it's almost instant now. It works great. Okay, so going back, now I'm going to switch over to privacy and safety. There's something called private mode. So if we were to enable it, basically, you would have to use your security. So my basic one is the fingerprint scanner. So I had to use my fingerprint to activate it. Now it's been activated. So here I have the ability to, say, make certain pictures, videos, some voice memos private. So now that it's been enabled, we're going to go and make something private. So I'm just going to go into my gallery. I'll take the screenshot I used and go here. And we're going to switch it to move to private. It's been moved. Okay, so I now have a private folder here. So if I were to go back, so now I'm going to go back into private mode settings. I'm going to disable private mode on purpose. Now if I go to my gallery, the private mode folder has been removed. It's not deleted, it's just been hidden. So in order to enable it back, I have to go back to the system settings menu, re-enable private mode, because it's going to ask for my fingerprint, which is a security feature. If I do that, now it'll reappear in the gallery. Send an SOS message basically allows you to literally send an SOS message. So if it's enabled and you tap the power button 3 times in a row, you'll be able to send a alert to your primary emergency contact. And you also have the ability to attach a picture and an audio recording. I guess this is great if, well, hopefully you never have to use it if you're getting robbed or something, or if you're in a car accident. This is the feature to use. Now going back and tapping easy mode, this is literally like, it is what it says. It's an easy mode. So we're gonna tap done. It's gonna enable this huge, like, I call it grandparent mode. It makes icons massive. You can add more. You're limited in functions. There's not as many options available, but it's because it's literally an easy mode. And you'll notice that the system settings menu also becomes larger with the easy mode enabled. So now for a little bit, we're gonna go to accessibility, vision, and we're gonna enable, well, some of these things are kind of gimmicky, like Galaxy Talkback. I just find that most of them are pretty, well, useless. So magnification gestures, if you enable it, it'll triple tap and magnify and zoom in, but again, that's stock Android. Magnifier window is something a little bit different. So if you were to enable it, you'll have this magnification window. Now, if you were to press back, it'll continue going with you. It won't disappear until you tap the X, which is almost transparent. Then it will actually turn that option off. There's another one called color adjustment. So you basically have difficulty reading some text. You can enable it. You'll have to go through a series of tests, which basically will try to allow it so that you're able to read text if you're having difficulty with these stock settings. So still in accessibility, if you go to hearing this time, we're going to do sound detectors. And you also have this like baby crying detector or doorbell detector, which will basically allow you to, well, know if your baby's crying or something like that. So as you can see, if I turn on baby crying detector, it'll try to hear for a cry. The phone has to be placed within 1 meter of the baby, which kind of defeats the purpose because then the phone isn't with you, because usually people need their phone with them. But it's just something I wanted to mention to you guys. Okay, so moving along, now we're going to go to dexterity and interaction. Universal switch, I'm going to be very, very honest. This is embarrassing, but I have no idea how it works. It requires some like gesture controls or some external devices connected to the Galaxy S6 in which you can change commands, like make your notification bar drop down, but with no accessories attached. I don't know how it works. It kind of puts the screen into a freeze mode. You can't really do anything unless you add certain commands, but I have no idea how it works. It's a little bit complicated. So we're going to switch over and continue on with assistant menu, which basically brings you up with this like little icon here. So I set the dominant hand as my right hand, so that's okay. So it pops up on the right side, but you can actually move this little thing around and it's with you pretty much all the time. It's always going to be there with you. So the point of this is if you open it, you'll get some quick settings available. So you can do like recent apps, the back button. You can open up more options, the volume controls, for example. Just tap on one and you'll see that you get this, well, it's literally an assistant menu. Continuing on, if you hit gesture wake up, if you basically wave your hand in front of the front facing camera, it'll wake up the screen while it's sitting on a flat surface. So there's something called direction lock, which I don't know why it's here. I would figure this would be part of the lock screen security, but basically you can add a series of swiping directions. So for example, let's do one up, right, continue, one, confirm. So let's do a pin. So let's do 1, 2, 3. Turn it off, turn it back on. If I were to just do anything, nothing's working. As you can see, I can't unlock. This is like another type of security feature. So I have to do my special pattern. So it's up 2, right 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then it unlocks. So I'm not sure why it's here. It should be part of the lock screen security, but whatever. Direct access basically allows you to access your accessibility options that you enable here by simply tapping the home button 3 times in a row. Continuing down a little bit more, if you go to answering and ending calls, while the phone is ringing, for example, for the second one, if you say accept, it'll answer the call. If you say reject, it'll reject the incoming call. It won't answer it. You can also answer the call by hitting the home button, or you can end the call by hitting the power button. So going to battery, you'll notice there's 2 power saving modes. Stock Lollipop comes with 1, but the Galaxy S6 has 2. Power saving mode regular basically reduces the performance of the device just a little bit, but increases your battery performance. Ultra power saving mode reduces the performance of your device by a huge, drastic amount. Like, you're also very limited in what you can do, how many apps you're able to access, and you'll notice that everything's black and white. And just a little bit more on the battery. Well, there's actually support for wireless charging, finally, with the Galaxy S device. One of the primary supported technologies is wireless Qi charging, of course. So switching over to the apps now, you have S Voice, which I don't really like too much, but it's kind of not in your face as much as it used to be in other Galaxy devices. But I have enabled it, so let's do my personal wake-up command. You can actually record your own voice and have your own personal wake-up command. So, hi Galaxy. What is the weather in Brampton today?
The sun's in and out today.
Yeah, so it didn't even actually read out the actual temperature, which is 10 degrees. Not only that, you notice that it was super laggy. You can actually have it so that it's permanently off, so you can accidentally wake up with your special recorded wake-up command. So moving along within the S Health app, if you open it up, you'll have access to the heart rate sensor function, if you just go down a bit. And the heart rate sensor is actually located just below the flash. So when I put my finger on it, you're going to see it's going to go red. And it's actually able to start reading my heart rate. And it's actually improved over previous Galaxy S devices. Now, while using the exclusive Samsung Video Player app, which is just simply called Video, if you open it up, you can access videos from your gallery. So if we're to open, say, this one here, you do have a few cool functions. So we'll just turn that down. So one, of course, is to pinch and zoom while you're watching the video. You'll see that it's actually showing you which part of the video you zoomed in. And you can see I can move it around. Another function is to have a pop-up window. So let me rewind this a little bit. And if I tap pop-up, it'll turn into a pop-up window. And you'll see that it's still playing in the background. So despite me hitting the home button, it's still playing there. So this will carry over with you until you actually tap on it and then actually exit from there, or until the video stops playing. The voice recording app is actually an exclusive Samsung one. So what you have here, let's go back to the basics. So standard is nothing special. It's recording all noises surrounding the Galaxy S6. If you were to do interview mode, it'll try to cancel noise from the side of the phone and try to take only recordings with the microphone here and from the person that might be in front of you, literally as if it was in interview mode. Then you have voice memo, in which you have to keep the voice, it's just basically telling you it's not guaranteed to work and blah blah blah. You basically have to keep the recorder close to your face, which is about 20 centimeters away from you. Now I'm going to show you this, but if you enable this function in the camera app, if you're anywhere on the device, if you double tap the home button, it'll open up the camera app. And this is the fastest phone to open the camera that I've ever used. So let me just show you really quick. Double tap. It's like instant. So you have to enable this here in the camera app. But the camera app has generally been cleaned up a lot. So if you can tap that arrow, you can hide everything you want. Tapping the gear icon doesn't present additional options anymore. It presents like your basic quality setting menu in a separate menu this time. So you have tracking, autofocus, grid lines. Quick launch is that double tap home button. You have to enable it here. You have voice control, so you'll say something like cheese, it'll take a picture. If you say something like record, it'll record a video. You can use the volume keys for certain functions. I set it to take pictures. So you have your generic settings like HDR mode, special effects, so on and so forth. If you go to front-facing camera, there I am, hello. So basically here, if you were to go to beauty, for example, you can slide this up and down and it'll try to remove things like your pimples and stuff. But if you go too high, it'll make your picture look somewhat artificial. Now, while in the front-facing camera mode, if you tap mode here, you'll have something like wide selfie, which allows you to take like a mini panorama selfie. So if you have like a group of people you want to take a selfie, as you can see is in this little box right here, it'll give you like a preview of what it's taking a picture of. You have something called virtual shot, which is also available with the rear camera. So if I was on the rear camera, for example, and I had this little figurine here, I would literally just circle the camera around and it would continue taking pictures. But you can only play it back while using the camera on the Galaxy S6. Quite honestly, you're better off just recording a video and walking around the object. Interval shots is basically shots in interval. You have the ability to download more, but if you go to selfie, so Samsung has also included this cool feature that if you put your finger on the heart rate sensor, it'll take a selfie for you, because taking a selfie and trying to hit this button might be a little bit difficult. So I'm not going to touch the screen, it's going to take a selfie, watch. See, I'm just tapping away and it's taking the photo for me. But I noticed that it needs to detect your face. That's where this little circle comes around in order for it to work. So going back to the rear camera, you can record in 4K video. You can take pictures with auto mode. You have a pro mode, which is like a manual setting. You can set the aperture, ISO, exposure values, so on and so forth. Selective focus is basically like you'll take a picture of something that's like 50 centimeters away, like this figurine here. Well, this is a bad example because there's a wall behind it, but if you had like some other objects behind it, you can choose to make this blurry and the background clear, or the background blurry and this clear. Try to mimic like a mirrorless or DSLR camera, but it looks artificial because it's purely digital. Slow motion capture is basically recording video in slow motion. Nothing special. Fast motion is fast motion capture. Dual camera mode basically allows you to front and rear cameras at the same time, as you can see. And I can actually record a video while moving the window around. And while recording a video or taking a picture, I can also resize this little window. If I were to tap the front facing one, it'll switch. And now the rear camera is a smaller one. If we go to mode, actually hit download, and I'll be taken to the Samsung Galaxy store in which I can download more. And the video is getting rather long, but we're just going to wrap it up by going into the off. So here's some nice sample pictures that I have. So for example, if I were to open up a picture, but the edit is where a lot of the functions are. If you go to photo editor, you'll get even more options. And within these options, there are options within options, and basically you probably never need to download a photo editing app. So that's my tips and tricks video with the Galaxy S6. Pretty much what I showed you is also available with the Galaxy 6 Edge as well, but the Edge has a few more gimmicky features that are available, that are exclusive to it. But overall, Samsung has cleaned up the software a lot, but kept some of the more important exclusive features, and they've done a pretty good job. So if you want to see the review video, camera sample videos, gaming demo video, a whole bunch of other videos regarding the Galaxy S6, you can find those links in the video description. And you can check out my Facebook, Google+, Twitter links, also in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.